Welcome to the Wednesday Warrior Wrap-Up, where we take a look at some of the awesome news and reveals of this week. First up on the Wednesday Warrior Wrap-Up, we have a look at the Star Wars May the 4th reveals / pre-orders of the following items. We got a Vintage Collection New Hope Stormtrooper and Obi-Wan Kenobi, also known as Ben Kenobi. We got a Vintage Collection Sears Catalog Cantina Adventure Set re-released with the Vintage Collection figures. I, for one, would have preferred this with the retro 5-point figures. It would have got me to buy it immediately. Plus, I could have seen it go down a little bit in price from the... I mean, it was a good price for what you're getting for Vintage Collection figures that are articulated with the playset. Vintage Collection figures are about $16 right now. So you're definitely getting a savings of about, I think like $5 or $10, plus you're getting the playset. Really cool. Just I really wish it was the retro stuff in these colors, because I think that would have been really cool. And then we got a look at a Star Wars FX lightsaber. It's the Hasbro versions of lightsabers, and I believe it was that of the Ahsoka series for Ezra Bridger. Then we got a Star Wars Troop 2-pack from Pulse exclusive, being the Shoretrooper and Death Trooper Specialist. Really cool if you missed out on those. And then we got 2 Black Series figures that were single figures of a lieutenant from Aayla Secura's, army. I think it's the 200 and something. I always forget it, or maybe it's the 1 something. Anyways, you can get that. It is a named character, but it is the basic clone armor of her trooper, so you could use that to troop build and make more troops for Bly. So I know I picked up 2 of those myself to go with Bly and Aayla Secura. And on top of that, they're doing 2 Walmart exclusives, Magna Guard in the more movie colors, and then Aayla Secura with a whooshing lightsaber effect this time around, but it is the same figure we got a while back. And then we also got a Hasbro Empire Troops 3-pack of a Scout Trooper, Sandtrooper, and Snow Trooper. So lots of cool troop builders, lots of cool figures. Really awesome celebration on May the 4th. They also are going to be doing more stuff in the future, so keep your eyes open for more Star Wars stuff, especially for Revenge of the Sith. And following up the Target Haulathon Geek event for NECA, we have a look at week 4, where we are getting the offerings of a Shadow, Sonic the Hedgehog Shadow, and a Hello Kitty plush from their Kid Robot stuff. And then we got 3 new figures added on: Pee-wee from Pee-wee's Playhouse, and then we got a Battle Damage Shredder and a Hunter Leonardo from the Mirage comic stuff. Some cool offerings. They just keep doing this each week. I think it goes till May, like middle of May, which is really cool. So we will definitely keep covering that. But just some really cool NECA offerings and some really cool Kid Robot plushes if you have a friend who collects plushes, or a family member. There's that. And then of course you got your collectible toy stuff. I'm very excited for the Pee-wee because it was one of the figures they showed off at Comic-Con or Toy Fair, and I saw it and I thought it was really cool, and I was looking forward to getting it. I managed to pick it up when I got my Shredder in store. The Target actually that I frequent had, I want to say, about maybe almost all of the Haulathon stuff in 1 week. They had the Count, they had Shredder, they had Pee-wee, they had the Mirage figures, and some of these plushes. So I don't know if they were told to hold it back each week to week, and that one just decided to do it all, but it was really cool. So hopefully everyone's able to get what they want this week, and hopefully next week we have some really cool offerings on top of it. And in 4 Horsemen Studio news, the Legions Con is coming up this November, and they've already showed off their first exclusive offering. This is going to be based off of some lore they made called the Crossroads. When you get to the Crossroads, you have a chance to challenge 4 different people or entities. There is the Warrior, the Reverend, the I don't want to say the Pixie or the Nyx, and then the something else. I feel bad. I knew the names beforehand. I should have written them down. But there's these 4 really amazing characters that you have to challenge. You challenge the warrior for, being powerful and being able to win in fights. You challenge the revenant for immortality. It's a lose-lose situation. And then the other 2, one is love and the other one is revenge. They're very fun kind of concepts. When they talked about them on a live stream, they were talking about how they got the idea from, Me and the Devil and the Crossroads, and doing a deal with them. But in this way, it's more of the Mythic Legions mythos kind of storyline kind of characters and stuff. The interesting part about this is there are only 2 figures, actually, even though there's 4 characters. Both the Fae and the other one are using the same figure, and the Revenant and the Warrior are using the same figure. So if you buy 2 of them, you'll only be able to make 2 of the characters have extra parts. So there is a really cool thing. When you go to Legions Con, you can pick them up, and they'll come with a lot of extra cool heads. So if you're attending, which I wish I could do, but flying all the way across the United States is definitely a bit of an expensive trip. But if you can go to the event, you can get 1 of each, and then afterwards, if you don't want to buy 4 there, you just want to buy 2 and then wait, they do the general public one later on, like they sometimes do, but there won't be all those extra cool heads that are shown in the image. There'll only be, I think, like the skull head and the knight head for the warrior and revenant, and then same with the female one. But yeah, really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what else they reveal, because this is only the first 2 exclusives that make 4 different characters. There's going to be other stuff in the future showing off. And on top of that, just a heads up, don't forget that tomorrow the 8th, or don't forget, I should say, just so you know, tomorrow the 8th at 11 o'clock Eastern time, they will be doing an in-stock sale on 4horsemanstudios.com. And they will have a lot of cool stuff. I think it's storehorseman.com. They will have some of the night builders from last year in box sets for about $100. And then with like 3 knights and barbarian upgrades and all that cool stuff. And then there's going to be a bunch of other items from like the All-Stars 5 and some Cosmic Legion, everything going in stock. So you can add them to any of the current in-stock items and ship them all out for $10, which is awesome they do that. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that too. And now for something completely different. Kickstarter, as you know, is a crowdfunding program where you can crowdfund an item that you're passionate about with a bunch of other fans and have it hopefully succeed. Well, if you are an old PlayStation 90s fan and you played the game Abe's Odyssey, which I had the chance to play when I was younger, with the family and everything like that, there is a company that is based off, it looks like in the UK because it shows euros, but it converts to cash when you look at the Kickstarter, that is doing a 5-inch articulated action figure of Abe from Abe's Odyssey. There's also going to be other offerings on their Kickstarter page, like shirts, medallions, pins, all kinds of other cool stuff if you want to help support them. It's a company that got the rights. It's official product. The figure looks really cool. I think it's about $30 for the figure. It is a bit pricey, but it is something cool that I don't think they ever had Abe's Odyssey figures before. I don't think anyone's ever done it. I could be wrong. Maybe McFarlane did something back in the day, or one of the other toy companies. But this is just a really awesome thing, and it's fun to see someone who's passionate about it trying to get a figure out there and some other cool accessories, because there's really not a lot of stuff for this. I'm kind of surprised, there's not more stuff for those nostalgic older games like that. I know you can find some Crash Bandicoot stuff, but even that has, need for product. There's not really a lot of stuff for that. So really cool. Link is in the description down below if you want to crowdfund it. It's really awesome. And the Skybound Entertainment Comics Transformers Compendium Kickstarter, staying with the Kickstarter stuff real fast, has wrapped up. If you backed it, I'm sure you saw all the amazing stuff that happened with it. It got all the stretch goals unlocked to the point where they did extra stretch goals for tech specs that weren't originally planned. I was hoping it would get to the needed amount to get the Sideswipe one, because that's my favorite Autobot. But unfortunately, it needed another, I want to say, 500,000 or something like that. It was a bit, but they made quite a bit off. I think they said that it went to 1,100 and something % over what they needed. So definitely did really well. I think it might have even done better than G.I. Joe, surprisingly. Kind of not surprising. There's a lot of Transformers fans, I feel like, out there, even fans who might just want to read these comics because they're comic fans or things like that. But it did really good. You can see all the stretch goals and all the stuff that you could choose from here in the image, and how they did a really good job. You could see how much they made, how far it went. I was shocked to see that it ended at 12 today, which was very interesting. I thought it was going to end at midnight, so it is already done as of this recording. But if you were able to, back it and you're going to get it now, I'm excited for it to finally be able to read some of the comics from the UK and the US that are a little bit harder to find. I don't really want to try to track down single issues. I think the only single issue Transformers comic I have in my collection right now is the first appearance of the Dinobots in the comics, and that's just because I thought it was a really cool cover, and the Dinobots are so different compared to the series. In the comics, they're more intelligent, so I just thought that was really cool. But yeah, really awesome campaign. I'm really excited for this, from Hasbro and Skybound and Bob Binsky and all of them, Simon Firm and all of them working on it. I'm really excited to see this take off and do so well, and I cannot wait for it to be in people's hands. Okay, so we're going to talk about something that I was on the fence about talking about, but I feel like it's important to talk about it so we can have it on record, so years in the future we can remember this, or talk, if we need to bring it back up and stuff like that, or just know about it, because I sometimes like to cover things that are going on that are toy news, just because even if I don't care about it myself, I want to remember about it. With everything going on with the tariffs, I know it's a touchy subject. I try to stay unpolitical, and this isn't a political thing. This is me just letting you guys know that it is finally happening, that Hasbro and Mattel are finally going to be raising their prices on the products. I kind of felt like prices were going to go up anyways this year, because we always do get price hikes every couple years, and I mean, we've been at 25 I think for 2 or 3 years now for Transformers, because I think when Siege was out I was paying $20, then I was paying 22 with, I think, towards the end of Earthrise and beginning of Kingdom, and then 25 through Legacy. So it's been at least 3-4 years that we've been paying 25, so I assumed we would have seen it gone up by a little bit, and we finally have some numbers. It sounds like, based on what people are looking at, that Transformers will be going up by 10%, so we'll be seeing deluxes go from 25 to about 27, 26. We're going to be seeing each of the classes go up. There's a little thing, the last one unfortunately says Leader instead of Titan, but Titans will be going up to that price, as you can see there. And the Mattel also is raising their prices. We don't know anything about any of the other brands from Hasbro. I'm assuming, since deluxes are the same prices as standard Marvel Legends and Black Series and G.I. Joe Classified, they'll be going up from $24.99 to $26.99 or $27.99. I'm just impressed they're not $29.99 for a deluxe figure and a standard figure. I really was worried they were going to just jump by $5 to becoming almost $30. It's about $30 after tax, though, at the point right now. So you will be paying about $30 for a standard figure, which is kind of painful, but that's just how things are, unfortunately, with the situation we're in. The hopes that everyone's talking about is that it will, work its way out and things will be able to be compromised one way or another. But it is very interesting to see that the big companies are finally bumping up the prices. I also saw that Mondo Toys is going to be bumping up. I had seen Super 7, Mezco, NECA, Good Smile Company, SH Figure Arts, Tamashii Nation, all of the companies that, Mayfex, things like collect, that everyone collects, I saw they were going up. So seeing the two major companies that I did not know what they were going to do, because when you think toys, Hasbro and Mattel are like the big, two. They've been around forever. They've got, evergreen brands that people pay to have, like Barbie clothing and Barbie shoes, or Transformers clothing and Transformers, cereal and stuff like that. Like, companies pay them to license out things with their characters on it. So I figured they're going to be okay. Chris Cox has always said, from Hasbro, the CEO, that he wants to do more with licensing out their brands so that they can kind of use that to help them stay afloat, because the toys are doing great, but as kids get older, this is a conversation that a lot of people have had about generations and stuff like that. They're more technical based. I mean, this could be its own whole video, but I don't want to do that. I just wanted to put a segment here to put a little pin in the year of 2025 in May that talks about how the prices are going up. Hasbro said that get your pre-orders now. That's the big thing. The reason I brought this up is Hasbro saying get your pre-orders now, because on May 9th, which is in 2 days, anything that we have on our site is going to go up when it comes to pre-orders. I don't know what it means for in-stock items. I was hoping they would let us know, but pre-orders are going to be going up. So any of those Spider-Man Gamerverse figures, the last G.I. Joe Classified wave, the current Star Wars figures that just talked about in the beginning of the video, those are all going to go up after the 8th. After Thursday on the 9th being Friday, they're all going to go up in price. I don't know what it means for in-stock items. I know Big Bad Toys said all their in-stock items weren't going to be raised or had been tariffed. So maybe Hasbro's going to be the same way. If it's in stock and it's already here, it's, fine. I will say a lot of people have been asking, will the prices go down after everything, once everything's worked out? Some people are saying based on how the prices of Hasbro product, Mattel product are only going up in the US and not Canada, Mexico, China, all that other stuff, Japan, that it's probably only going up here because of everything that's going on, and then it might go down if things get figured out. So this is not like a new prices mean they're going to stay there, but there's always a chance when something goes up that it will stay there. My hopes is that if figures go up to from 25 to 30, that after everything blows over, they'll go back down to 25. But honestly, humans are creatures of habit. We could end up getting comfortable with the idea of it. And the next thing you know, they just stay there. It does work out as a Transformers fan because Transformers was cutting back to begin with to smaller amounts of waves, so there's not as many coming out a year. They talked about this, I believe, at Comic-Con last year, so I don't know if they, were just, I think they were just doing that just to make it so that figures that were hard to get don't get harder to get, that there's more chance for them being on the store shelves. So pretty cool they did that, so it might make it easier for that. Maybe G.I. Joe will kind of do the same thing in Star Wars and Marvel and so forth and so on with Mattel and He-Man and Barbie. And because I really like those Thundercat He-Man toys, those are really cool too, but now they might be going up in price. So just wanted to cover it here. Don't want to go on too long for it. It's already been about 5 minutes, almost 6, so I'm going to cut it off here. No matter what, just remember to have fun, play with toys, but don't let it, cause you too much stress. And in comics this week we think look awesome. First up is G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, number 316. And I've been reading these comics. They're really fun. Like we've said in the past, it takes place after 300. So we're at 16 issues now of continuing the story, and this cover just looks awesome. It's giving me ideas for my classified figures, taking one of my Crimson Guard's heads off and putting Snake Eyes on it, because it is Snake Eyes looking like he's putting on disguise to go in as Crimson Guard. Really, I don't want to spoil too much, but the story's been really good, and I'm really curious to see where it's going in this issue. But I don't want to spoil too much, but just really awesome. The Skybound Entertainment stuff with G.I. Joe and Transformers has been peak. It's been awesome, really enjoyable. The next up we have Marvel Comics Fantastic Four Fanfare number 1, and this is a getting us hyped for the Fantastic Four movie by throwing out some cool comics. And this cover just looks incredible, really awesome, really clean. I like it. And then finally, we have Space Ghost and Johnny Quest team up in Space Quest, and the title is what got me with this one. I just love the idea that they take Space Ghost and they take away the word ghost, and take Johnny Quest, they take away the word Johnny, and make Space Quest, which is just really cool. I hope I said that right. I got a little twisted up in the brain. We'll try to put that all together. But yeah, just some really cool comics this week. I'm very excited for the comics that are coming out this week. I had a fun time during Free Comic Book Day. There was a lot of cool stuff going on with that, and there's always new fun comics. Like always, stop at your local comic shop, pick up your saver, and have a wonderful week. And in today's Creative Corner, we take a look at a awesome person on Instagram, lockdown_production_NASA on Instagram. And they have amazing creativity with their photo ops. It's not even just the photos that caught my eye. It's the fact that from what it looks like, they have made a huge play space in either their backyard or somewhere. It's just really awesome looking. It makes me want to, pull out some toys and go in the backyard and set stuff up and get some cardboard boxes and make some buildings. They have amazing photos. Some of the ones I picked out here that caught my eye is the fact that it's like there's a Biff player as a cowboy. I can't remember the name of the actual aliens, like herding what looks like camels or llamas. There's a recreation of a very awesome lore slash cryptid photo of a group of men with a Thunderbird slash pterodactyl looking take it out. They did this really cool photo here. They work primarily in 3-inch figures and make really awesome scenes with terrain at 3-inch scale. They have a whole world pretty much that they built and added onto, and just really awesome creative stuff that gets the, you know, mind moving and thinking, man, it'd be awesome to do stuff like that if I had the space, or even in a small scale, in a smaller space, it'd be cool to do that. Just really awesome looking. I mean, they have even Steve in tactical gear helping out a rebel group, it looks like, take down the Empire. There's just all kinds of photos here that stuck out to me. They gave me ideas of how I never even thought about using Cosmic Legions or Mythic Legions as like monster scale characters or beast scale characters with your 3-inch figures, like taking the orange forearm alien from Cosmic Legion and having him be a giant alien in the 3-inch scale. I never even thought of that. I don't know why that didn't click, that you could take the Cosmic Legion figures or the Beast Mythic Legion characters like the ogres or the orcs and stuff and have them be giant monsters for your 3-inch figures to either work with or fight. But just that kind of stuff, that these are the kind of, like, you know, posts and photos I like to see to kind of get me to think outside the box about different scales work together. You don't have to have everything 6-inch or everything 3-inch or, you know, 4-inch or stuff like that. You could mix and match and have them work with each other. Just really awesome photos. There's even one where it looks like there's the Biff player band members getting escorted to a vehicle at a party scene. There's, you know, all kinds of cool photos. There's a photo of one of the Mythic Legion's shaman orc character, I can't remember their name, in kind of like a little outside wilderness area. They're just really awesome photos that just get me excited about collecting and playing with toys. And I thought it'd be cool to cover here because they're very creative and, you know, they're inspirational in the idea of what you could do with your collection and stuff like that. And so I wanted to give them a shout out. Like always, give them a follow, give them a like, share their stuff with other friends of these kind of stuff. The link for their description is down below. I mean, their link is in the description down below if you want to go follow them and do all those awesome things. I know I went through and saw some of the different photos and picked stuff out as you see here, but there's a lot more. They even have like a Coliseum they built. It's just really awesome. So that's who we're covering this week. Thank you so much for stopping by. And that about wraps it up. Thanks for stopping by. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section. If you're feeling generous, share it. And thank you so much for watching. Till next time, bye.